Hey everyone, I'm Nina Zadeh with Sidewalker Daily, and in today's video, I want to talk about Instagram insights that brands care about. So if you're an influencer and you're going into your Instagram insights because you're pitching to brands and you're working with brands and doing your media kit and all that good stuff, today's video is really going to be focused about sharing the insights that matter. The insight tool on Instagram should be used twofold, right? It should be used to help you decide what does well, to be able to see what content resonates well, times to post and things of that nature. But there's information there that the brands that you're pitching to don't really need to know. The information is more for you to help make educated decisions on the type of content you want to post. On the other hand, the information that brands care about when it really comes down to, if you're an influencer, is your influence, right? So like your post interactions, your impressions, your ability to drive clicks and different actions through your platform, and your audience. That's what the brands really want to care about. Now, of course, there's ways to tie in, why, for example, what time you post is important. That's information that you can share with the brand once you're in a negotiating process and you're saying, hey, you know what, maybe we should post in the AM because it tends to do better at that time. But that shouldn't be part of the pitching or what you include in your media kit, because it's information that's just not necessary. It's necessary for you in your growth as a creator, but not necessary in your pitching. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through some insights that I think are really important when it comes to pitching to brands if you're an influencer. And guys, if you are an influencer looking to work with brands, I have an amazing free training. It's a 3-part video training. I've left the link below for you. I am including so much information in this training. So you're definitely going to want to sign up and get access to all that good stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in and talk about the insights. Now, the first piece of information that brands are really concerned with is your engagement rate. Now, there is a lot of things on the internet about how to come up with your Instagram engagement rate, and this number is changing because people have different ways of gathering that information. So before, it used to be the number of all your content interactions, so comments, likes, saves, shares, all that good stuff, divided by your follower count. But more and more, what people are starting to do is they're dividing it by the number of impressions. And they're doing this because they're saying, hey, I may have 60,000 followers, but only 10,000 people actually saw my post. So why am I doing the math based on total followers? Also, it's not just engagement rate, right? There are other things that the brand is interested in when it comes to your content interactions. Now, interestingly enough, I think that information like your profile taps or your profile visits and also your website taps are also really good indicators, because a lot of times on Instagram, especially with my micro influencers, brands will ask them to put their website in their link in bio, right? So if you're able to say, hey, I was able to get a few hundred people to tap on the website, that shows that you're able to drive traffic to their website. So again, it depends, who knows where you'll use this information. Maybe it's in your pitch and that opening one-liner. Maybe it's in negotiations. Maybe it's when you're trying to up your rate and saying, hey, I've looked at my website taps and I know I'm able to drive a certain number of, traffic to your site, and having that link in my bio is really valuable. That's information that you're going to want to use when, pitching to brands. When it comes to content interactions, Instagram does this thing where they sum it up for you, right? They put everything together and they show you different types of content interactions, from likes, comments, saves, shares. But there's two little metrics here that I want to bring to your guys' attention: saves and shares. And the reason I'm excited about saves and shares is because I think it shows a brand the ability for you to get more than just a like or comment. So if someone's actually sharing your content, this is super valuable to the brand. And this is something that you're going to want to use potentially, again, in that pitch or when you're upping your price. Same thing with saves. Instagram is the type of platform that the content just goes really, really fast, right? But if a user is saving your posts, this means they want to come back to it. You want to go into your insights, often, and you want to look at the 30-day saves. You want to look at the 7-day saves and see what this number is. And is this number growing? Because if you have savable style content, I work with an influencer that does infographics, and she's always posting them and they get a lot of saves. And now she's working with a brand to get these graphics sponsored. And a brand may be like, well, we want you in the photo. video instead of like a graphic. And she's like, well, actually my photos that have graphics get like 5 times the number of saves than photos with me in it because I'm sharing information and value. So it's a really good tool. Obviously there's likes and comments, but let's look at things like saves and shares as that really good metric in what brands want to know. And feel free to put this info in your media kit. I have a few videos on media kits here that you guys can check out if you want to learn more. And of course, if you're an influencer that needs help on your media kit, you can work with me directly, and I'll include that link below as well. Now, when you go into insights, you're gonna see things like top post. This isn't important to the brand. This is important to you. So don't even worry about including that sort of stuff. The only time that I think it would be maybe useful is if you're pitching to a brand a similar style of content and you're like, look, this did really, really well for me. And you're using it more as like evidence. But if you're not in that talking, communication phase with a brand, I don't think it is information that you need. Again, unless it's based on the type of pitch that you're pitching. If you're pitching something that's very similar to a top post, then yeah, maybe we want to have some of those screenshots in our media kit. It's always obviously case by case. Now, the other thing brands are super interested in is your audience. Believe it or not, the whole concept of having like this big global audience is a little overrated. Don't kill me for saying that, but the reason I say that is because a lot of times brands have very specific target markets. And I know this because with my brand clients, like I have had to turn down influencers with millions and millions of followers if they are just not part of my target market. And it's so hard to say no to them because I'm like, I know you're amazing and would bring so much value, but you're not part of our target market. And a lot of the times my brands are looking to target like specific cities. So in terms of your audience, for example, when you go onto your insights, you're gonna see like your follows and your unfollows. The brand doesn't need to know this. Unless you are growing at such a crazy rate and you think it's important for the brand to say, hey, you wanna get in on this now before the train leaves, then that's up to you. But if you're just growing at a steady rate, you don't need to include your follow, unfollow information. What you should be, including in your media kit or in your pitching efforts is your audience, especially the cities. What main cities do you have people concentrated in? This is super helpful information for brands and can actually tip the scale in your favor. If a brand is looking to target someone, I don't know, in a local Dallas market and you have a heavy Dallas influence, this could help you get the gig. Also, things like gender, super important. The brand wants to see the Instagram breakdown, as well as age. If you have the perfect audience, literally from age, gender and city, this is going to be that triple win for you when you are pitching. And it can also, to be honest, have brands be like, oh, they're not the right one. Her audience skews too young, or, they have, she doesn't have the exact cities that we're targeting or whatnot. So again, it will help you, but it can also be honest. You don't want to work with a brand who's trying to target a Dallas audience and you don't have a Dallas audience because it just won't be a good fit or a win. So definitely use Instagram insights to dig deep on your audience and use that information to help in your pitching efforts. And like I said, information like most active times to post is not necessary in this point of the game. It's maybe necessary when you yourself as a creator are deciding what time to post. If you made it this far, you're in luck because this is a metric that people don't talk about often and you are going to learn about it. So it's the stories completion rate. So this is an interesting metric because it basically tells you how many people complete watching all your stories, right? So as you guys know, your first few stories always have more views than the last ones, right? So the way you get your stories completion rate and to see how many people complete a set of your stories is you would take the last number, so the views on the last story post, let's just say it's 500, and you divide that by the first views. Let's just say that's 1,200. So you would get your calculator and you would do 500 divided by 1,200 and you would multiply that number by 100, and that's 41%. So 41% of your audience is finishing your stories from start to finish. And this is a metric that, again, you can use in pitching. If you're pitching a story segment, if you are pitching, working with brands and doing paid stories, this is a good piece of information to know. Also, while you are, you can include this in your media kit and again, in that pitch email and all that good stuff. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video and it gave you some clarity on the insights that you should be pulling from to help your pitching efforts. Like I said, I work with influencers on helping them work with brands because I'm literally the person on the brand side making the decisions. So I'm here to share my information. You can work with me directly if you're looking to up your pitching strategy, and definitely sign up for that 3-part video. You're going to love it. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this video in the comments. I read all of them. They make my day, and I will see you in the next video.